guy had to be removed yesterday from the Annika Pro-Am that featured Caitlin Clark playing in the actual Pro-Am, and the celebrity caddies were Sophie Cunningham, Lexi Hall. They had to get a guy out of there.
Okay, so get this. Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham were just chilling at a golf tournament. They were trying to have a good time, but then security had to kick someone off the course. This wasn't just some regular crazy fan, though. What went down at the Annika Pro-Am went from kind of awkward to absolutely wild in a blink. And honestly, the stuff we found out later is even crazier than the incident itself. Have you ever seen someone get tossed from a game? Let us know what happened.
Caitlin Clark's Pro-Am interrupted by man claiming to be Sophie Cunningham's boyfriend. Wow. A man appearing to be in his 70s and claiming to be the boyfriend of WNBA star Sophie Cunningham was escorted off the grounds of the Pelican Golf Club during Caitlin Clark's Pro-Am round after apparently being the victim.
So Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, and Lexi Hall were at the Pelican Golf Club. It was the Annika Pro-Am. Supposed to be a super chill day, right? Just golf, some celebrity sightings, connecting with fans. Clark's out there playing. Sophie and Lexi are caddying, looking good in their matching fever gear. Everything's just wholesome and fun. But then some guy in the crowd starts yelling Sophie Cunningham's name. Not just once, but over and over. He's loud, so security notices. And when they go to ask him what's up, he makes this absolutely wild claim. He says he's Sophie Cunningham's boyfriend.
According to the Daily Mail, Cunningham, who was among the celebrity caddies for the her Indiana Fever teammate, was walking the 10th fairway when the man shouted for her several times, calling her, quote, Soph. Cunningham, 29, ignored the calls. Two members of the Bel Air Police Department were assigned to the group for security. One stopped the man, demanding to see his driver's license and taking a photo to identify him. Although he complied, he told the officer it was not necessary.
Let that sink in for a second.
Okay, picture this. A man, probably in his 70s, is on a golf course literally screaming for a 29-year-old WNBA player. He's telling the police officers that they're dating. The Bel Air Police Department, who were actually assigned to secure their group, stopped him right away. They asked for his ID. He gave it to them, sure. But then he tells the officer that his ID isn't even needed.
Why?
Because, and this is wild, he's with Sophie. Seriously, he thought that would just magically fix everything, and the cops would just apologize for bothering him.
When he produced messages from social media accounted purporting to Cunningham's, the officer told the man he was likely being...
But honestly, it just got way worse from there. When the officers pushed him about this supposed relationship, the guy pulls out his phone. He shows them messages from a social media account he completely believed was Sophie Cunningham's. And here's the kicker. This is where it stops being just weird and gets genuinely sad. He'd actually sent this fake account almost $2,000 in gift cards. Yeah, $2,000. Can you believe it? He thought Sophie Cunningham, a pro athlete with big endorsement deals and a WNBA salary, desperately needed iTunes cards or whatever gift card scam these catfishers were pulling.
Said he had sent his, quote, girlfriend almost $2,000 in gift cards through the account. This old man thought Sophie Cunningham was actually talking to him.
Okay, so the officer there had to actually explain to this guy that he was getting scammed. They told him the account wasn't real. They told him Sophie Cunningham wasn't his girlfriend and had never asked him for money, but he just wouldn't hear it. He kept insisting he just needed to talk to Sophie. He thought she'd clear up his story. In his head, it was all a big misunderstanding that would vanish once Sophie confirmed they were together. The level of denial is just staggering, especially when the police are literally escorting you off the golf course. So, a sheriff's golf cart rolls up, because of course that's how you get kicked out of a golf event, and they start loading him in. As he's getting on, he's still protesting like, "What? You're going to throw me out for talking to my girlfriend?" He honestly thought the cops were the unreasonable ones here. Even as they're driving him away, he's still shouting, "If I could just speak to her." Like being closer would make his fantasy real. Now, let's talk about what Sophie Cunningham was dealing with through all this. She's out there trying to caddy for her teammate, trying to have fun, engaging with actual fans, and then some stranger is screaming her name, claiming he's her boyfriend, and security has to get involved. That's not just awkward. That's genuinely scary. Catfishing scams can easily lead to in-person confrontations, and those can turn dangerous super fast. It's lucky this guy seemed more deluded than threatening, but it could have gone so differently. Sophie, though, handled it perfectly. She totally ignored him, didn't engage, didn't try to explain, didn't give him any attention at all. She just kept walking and let security do their job. That's the absolute right way to respond when some stranger claims a relationship with you. Zero acknowledgement. Because even denying it gives these people what they actually want: direct interaction. What's even worse about this whole mess is how common these scams are now. The Athletic did a big investigation into catfishing schemes targeting athletes, and it's happening constantly. Fans get tricked into believing they're chatting with their sports heroes, then they're scammed out of money using crypto or gift cards. These scammers are good. They make super convincing fake accounts, steal photos from real athletes, and target lonely or vulnerable people who just want that attention to be real. LPGA Tour members have been hit especially hard. Scott Stewart from a security firm that works with the LPGA says people regularly show up at tournaments thinking they've paid for private dinners with players. But here's where it gets even darker. Some victims show up angry, wanting to confront the athlete because they think the athlete personally scammed them. They don't believe it was a fake account. They think the actual player took their cash and then ghosted them. Can you even imagine being Sophie Cunningham and having to worry that some stranger might show up hostile thinking you ripped them off? That's not just annoying, that's a serious safety concern. These athletes have zero control over fake accounts using their names and images, but they're the ones who have to deal with the aftermath when victims come looking for answers or confrontation. And the technology making these scams worse is evolving so quickly. AI voice cloning means scammers can now make it sound exactly like the athlete is talking to the victim. Video deepfakes are getting more convincing all the time. It's just getting harder and harder to tell what's real and what's fake. So these elderly or vulnerable targets truly believe they're in relationships with these athletes because the evidence seems legit. Photos, messages, voice notes, all fake but convincing enough to empty bank accounts. And look, it's easy to make fun of someone for falling for this stuff. But elder fraud is a huge problem. Older people grew up in a time when if someone called from the electric company, it was the electric company. They didn't learn the skepticism needed for today's scam culture. So when a social media account with Sophie Cunningham's face starts messaging them and building a relationship, many just don't have the tools to spot it as fake. That doesn't make them dumb. It makes them victims. The fact that this guy was 70 years old and honestly thought he was dating a 29-year-old WNBA player he'd never even met, that's just sad. He spent $2,000 on gift cards for someone who isn't real. He showed up at a golf tournament expecting his girlfriend to be thrilled to see him. Instead, he got escorted off the property by police with everyone watching. That's a rough day, no matter how delusional the path that led him there. But from Sophie, Caitlin, and Lexi's side, this totally messed up what should have been a fun event. They're trying to raise money for charity, connect with real fans, enjoy a break from basketball, and then security has to step in because someone in the crowd is making a scene that pulls focus from the event and makes everyone uncomfortable. What's wild is this all happened right after Sophie accidentally hit a spectator with a stray shot. That moment was hilarious and wholesome. Sophie hit her face in Caitlin's shoulder from embarrassment, then ran over to hug the guy she hit, took pictures, and signed the ball. It was a classic feel-good sports moment everyone loved. Then, like an hour later, they're dealing with someone getting removed by the police. The emotional whiplash, going from lighthearted fun to a real security concern, is just jarring. The catfishing part also shows how strange fame has become. Athletes have always dealt with obsessed fans, but in the social media age, These parasocial relationships make people genuinely believe they have personal connections with celebs they've never actually met. Add in scammers who actively exploit that delusion for money, and you get situations like someone showing up at a golf tournament claiming to be Sophie Cunningham's boyfriend. What's really sneaky about this is that the athletes themselves have no way to prevent it. Sophie can't stop someone from making a fake account with her photos. She can report one, but 10 more pop up instantly. She can post warnings on her real account, but the people getting targeted often don't follow her real account. They only interact with the fake one. So she's basically powerless to protect her own image or stop people from getting scammed in her name. That's just so frustrating and violating in ways most people don't think about. The security response here was perfect and professional. The Bel Air police officers assigned to the group handled it fast and quietly. They figured out who the guy was, saw he wasn't an immediate threat, explained he was being scammed, and removed him without causing a bigger scene. That's exactly how you want that kind of situation handled. No escalation, no drama, just efficient problem solving that keeps everyone safe. But the fact that this level of security is even needed at a charity golf event tells you something about our culture today. Caitlin Clark can't just play golf without police escorts because her popularity is so massive that crowds get out of control and stuff like this happens. That's the trade-off with her level of fame. You get the endorsements and the platform, but you lose the ability to just exist in public spaces without tons of security. And poor Caitlin, she's just trying to work on her golf game and support a good cause. She probably heard the commotion, saw security moving in, and thought, oh, great. Here we go again, because this is her normal now. Every public appearance comes with the chance that someone will do something wild that needs intervention. That's exhausting. There's no off switch. Even at a golf tournament, you're on high alert. Oh, and the multiple guys who pretended Sophie's ball hit them just because they wanted attention from her. That's peak modern sports fandom too. She actually hit one person, but several others just fell down hoping for the same reaction. That's kind of pathetic, but also a little funny, in a sad way. Everyone's so desperate for a moment with these athletes that they'll fake injuries for a photo op. The thirst is real, and it's super embarrassing. What this whole incident really shows is how vulnerable athletes are to this kind of harassment and exploitation. They can't control who uses their image. They can't stop scammers from targeting vulnerable people using their name. They can't stop delusional people from showing up at events with completely made-up stories about their relationships. All they can do is lean on security, ignore the chaos, and hope no one gets hurt. The fact that The Athletic felt they needed a whole investigation into catfishing scams targeting athletes just proves how widespread this problem is. It's not just a few isolated incidents anymore. It's a systematic issue affecting athletes across different sports, with financial and safety concerns that leagues and security firms are actively trying to fix. And there's no easy solution because scammers are always changing their tactics to stay ahead. For Sophie Cunningham specifically, this has to be so unsettling. She's just living her life, building her career, and strangers are making fake versions of her to scam people. Then those victims show up where she works, demanding answers. The big takeaway here is that fame in 2025 comes with new kinds of complications. Earlier generations of athletes never had to deal with this stuff. Michael Jordan didn't worry about deepfake videos or AI voice clones. Serena Williams didn't have catfishing scams creating fake relationships in her name. Modern athletes face threats and violations that are totally new, and the systems to protect them are still catching up. So, yeah, what should have been a fun charity golf event turned into a big security situation because scammers are out here messing everything up. Sophie Cunningham handled it perfectly. Security did their job, and hopefully that guy finally learned a lesson about internet scams.